Welcome to Rich Planet TV. I'm Richard D. Hall, and today I will be speaking again to John Hanson, who is the author of Haunted Skies, which is a series of encyclopedias charting British UFO cases. And there are several volumes in these encyclopedias, John, yeah?
There are, yes.
And just tell us what dates they span from and to.
Well, the first volume is 40 to 59. The second volume is 60 to 65. The third volume is 66 to 67. The fourth volume is 68 to 71. And the fifth volume is 72 to 74. And the sixth volume, which we're working on at the moment, is 75, 76 and 77. Okay. And I have to say, it's easy to get confused, right, because of the sheer weight and volume of sightings that we've come across over the years. And I would like to say, although I find each and every one absolutely fascinating, and people get sick of hearing me say fascinating, interesting, and words like that, but they are, undoubtedly they are, because although to each and every person that witnesses inexplicable phenomena like that, you know, sometimes it can change the whole lifestyle.
And this is something which most people don't realise, that there are thousands and thousands of cases, and we're going to have a look in your study a little bit later at all of your files. Because
we are, if you like, our greatest problem is that, I mean, there are probably thousands of sightings that we haven't even discussed. Cases in Silbury Hill, Warminster, Dorset, Hampshire. The list is endless that we've covered, and it would be absolutely impossible for me to remember each and every detail of every case. That's why we wanted to commit them to these books, because then there's a record. Although I think I've got a pretty good memory, sometimes you have to read from a document, and I am aware of the fact that probably people who watch these shows don't want to see somebody reading from a document, but because we have so much stuff, it's sometimes it's the only way to deal with specific cases.
Now, in the previous show, we were discussing a 1967 case called the Flying Cross, which was this UFO which was sighted by many people, and it was in the shape of literally a crucifix type
covered in lights, yeah,
cross, covered in lights, flying around the UK.
That's right. Most people's knowledge of the so-called flying cross UFO, that's indeed if they know of the flying cross UFO. There was a huge amount of sightings of that particular object in October 1967, and it peaked towards the 24th to 25th of October. And I am actually not going to read all the cases in there, but suffice to say, one of the reasons why, or I say we embarked on investigating and cataloguing all of this information, is to show that the evidence clearly indicates that the two police officers that we've spoken before from the Devon and Cornwall Constabulary, PC Roger William, PC Clifford Waycott, they came to the prominence of the press in October, 24th of October 1967, after they chased one at 4 o'clock in the morning. And eventually, as a result of their report to the police, they were then hauled in by their superintendent the following day, off nights, and told that it was Venus or a planet that they were chasing. And if it wasn't for the fact that we've got all these other cases, one for all we know, that could have been the answer, but clearly that is not the answer. And I think history should record what was the answer, as opposed to speculation by some people that it was a planet.
Yeah, and you did read off camera many
reports,
sightings
yeah,
of
of
this
flying cross-shaped objects, clear-cut objects, look like flying crosses, not Venus, not Mars. But let's be honest about this. At that particular time, certainly there were concerted efforts to explain these things away as well as Venus, Mars, or as tankers refueling in the sky. But the truth of it is that flying cross, or that UFO, certainly was seen by thousands of people. And I said to you that if we had the time and the resources, we could check if the reader went to the library, all they've got to do is check the microfiches for between the 20th and the 30th of October 67, and I guarantee they'll find loads and loads of sightings of the flying cross.
Okay.
So
Now, your current or latest volume that's been published is Volume 5, which takes us up to 1974.
yes,
You're working on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
we're working on the Jubilee book, which is 75, 76 and 77. That's what we're working on at the moment.
Right.
And also,
And
yeah.
you say we, it's your partner Dawn.
This is my partner Dawn. Yeah, she's without Dawn I'd be.
Just what's her role in the project?
Well, she
John?
proofreads and she edits the work and she does the donkey work, and she also comes out and does the investigations. But she doesn't like to appear in front of the camera. And as I said before, to be honest, neither do I. But somebody's got to do it, so that's why I'm here.
Okay. Now, you're a retired police officer.
That's
you also
correct, yeah.
worked in CID.
Yeah.
And the next case that we're going to discuss, because I'm very interested in some of the more recent work that you've been telling me about over the last few days. One in particular, a case involving a police officer in the mid-1990s. This took place near the River Nene, Nene, which is in Wellingborough. And
Yes.
we're going to call him John because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
be named. So this guy would have been in his mid-40s and he was out fishing, I believe.
He was, yeah. So have you?
And he was a serving police officer
Yeah,
at the time.
I mean, what I'd like to do with this particular case is, rather than read out all the details, we're certainly going to get the investigator, the original investigator. It's a guy called John Jenkins, and he's a wee canny Scotsman from Edinburgh that we had the privilege of meeting a couple of years ago, and he did a little pamphlet which contained this case as well. I don't know whether you want to look at that.
Yeah, so this is
this is John's little
John
pamphlet.
Jenkins.
Yeah, he's a piano tuner by trade. A really nice guy.
The document that he wrote, is it just on this particular case?
No. There's about 10 cases in
10
that little
cases in
booklet.
So this is John Jenkins, a
Yeah.
UFO investigator, and he's written this pamphlet, which is
Yeah.
entitled "Of No Defence Significance." Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And this case is covered in this document.
it is. Yeah.
So you received some letters from this police officer.
Well, I discussed the case with John Jenkins.
Yes.
And then he put me in touch with John, the UFO witness, and we took it from there. But it's an intriguing case because I think, once again, if you judge it on its individual merits, you'd find it very puzzling, and you'd probably also find it difficult to believe. But he is not the same. I've met so many other people that have had problems. As I contacted him, but in a nutshell, John will have the opportunity, the investigator, to talk to us, and also John, the UFO witness, will have the opportunity to talk to us. So I'm not going to steal too much of their thunder, but
Right.
what I will say, I'll just run through it and say, the man was out there fishing, he had no other UFO sightings, and this saucer-shaped object with, I'm pretty sure he describes it as having something like a girder at the bottom.
Right.
And as we said before, how many people talk about these girders or box sections of these UFOs?
And UFOs, that's
It was
common
hovering,
then.
hovering over the river. It was close enough for him to throw his rod at it, but he couldn't move.
Right.
And then he got a box of maggots which were next to him, and then within a few minutes the object disappeared and was away in the distance. And the maggots had pupated, And as I understand it, that's a process of behaviour that shouldn't take place for a couple of days.
Right.
They pupated. When he got home, he didn't tell his wife of what had happened. But she knew he'd had some sort of shock from the look of him, and he went straight to bed. He developed some terrible headaches and nosebleeds, and ultimately ended up going to the doctors, where they recommended he have a scan. When he had a scan, the surgeon or consultant asked him if he'd had an operation on his brain, because he's got scars on his brain, and he has medication for that. But he then reported it to the MOD.
Right. Do you want to read the letter, John? Or,
Oh yeah. Well, I say yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
it-
Well,
to
no.
be honest,
Well, you're
everything what
itching, aren't
you
you?
everything what you're saying is in the letter. And
Well, yeah. Well, yes. But it's bearing in mind that yes, everything what I'm saying is in the letter, but this is clearly a letter that was written by somebody pretty traumatised.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is
Which
just
But one thing to point out. This is a serving police officer who
Well,
had no belief whatsoever in UFOs before this thing happened to
well, I
him.
think he might have just retired before then. But yeah,
Right.
I'm
So
with
sorry,
you.
sorry.
Well, it
A
doesn't
police
make-
officer
it doesn't
who had
make any
just
difference.
retired in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
had no belief in UFOs until
Well, it was
until he had this sighting.
an ordinary man.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't ask for this. But anyway,
So this is a letter.
yeah, this is.
written-
I'll read it out. Right, 14 November 1994. Watch stopped at 15:15 hours. Fishing at Stanwick Lakes. 3 to 3:15. Dusk beginning to fall. Saw a dark shadow on lakes. Looked up. Large silver-looking object coming towards on lake. Hovering, stopped about 10 feet above water. Oblong body. Object looked like upturned bowl. With a teapot lid on top. Huge thing. Could see 4 oval type windows, possibly 5 shadows moving by windows, and a bluish haze around object. Writing on side like hieroglyphics, in brackets Egyptian. Size estimate long, roughly about 40 to 50 feet high, and about 100 feet round thereabouts. Looked metallic. Wanted to throw a metal rod stand at it. Unable to move, though could hear some okay. Twinkling light like sun shining from belly of object onto water, moving it in a violent circular motion. Object rose up suddenly into air at tremendous speed, a tiny dot in a matter of seconds. Fishing bait maggots turned to casters, and then effing strange home at 4:45 p.m. Feel like, well, I'll say crap, but he doesn't put crap. Feel like crap. Went to bed, strange. 5:30, dreams, floating on mortuary slab, voids, kept waking up, violent headache like never had before. I think I'm going effing crazy, can't believe what I've experienced. No more disbelieving other people after that crap.
No more disbelieving other
Yeah.
people after that crap. Okay.
Yeah, right. The next one is...
This is another letter, yeah.
Yeah, February, headache so severe, went to docs, went for ECG tests and CAT scan. Now very worried, scar on left lobal region of brain, more tests to come, in brackets, great. 23rd of February, received call from Ministry of Defence by female, no name, questioning me at length, though why if don't mean nothing. Strange, rang me on 23rd of February, then get a letter dated 17th of February, and they in charge of country and security. March 95, intimidating phone call about my experience, told caller, no name, no chat, put phone down. Caller rang back within minutes with threatening tone, not to talk about my experience, told him to go something himself, put phone down. Yeah. April, think my phone calls intercepted, a number of clicks when using my phone. This is effing unreal. All this crap about something that don't exist, in brackets apparently. April, wife thinks she's being followed, does not know about that experience, not tell. The MOD spoke to MOD, rang them, spoke to an unnamed person, told them that I'm aware of phone intercept and trying to intimidate my wife, threatened publicity following if they didn't stop it. And then on the 20th of November, this is the one that I think is of interest to you, is what the F is going on. Bad dreams, blinding headaches, nosebleeds, still got headaches and still seeing bluish light. What the F did I see? Feel like I'm going mad, got to see a doctor about headaches. Wife tells me I've changed, not too happy with washing blood-soaked pillows. Wife tells me she thinks she's being followed. Now I'm going mad. Keep getting feeling that something going to happen to me. Keep dreaming of strange jumping lights and that I'm in a strange round room with floating tables and a cow and a horse in the room. Christ, the horse's mouth is being cut off, but horse just stands there. I can't make any sense of what's happening to me, but one thing, can't tell anyone or they will lock me up. Hope headaches and nosebleeds stops. They are driving me nuts. Don't know how I'm going to explain nosebleeds, headaches to doctor though. Maybe I've had a breakdown and don't know it. And this is the last page. Another bad dream. Feel really ill. Dreamt I was floating again in a bluish haze. I've put winter bed socks on. When I went to bed now can't find them. Must have put them somewhere else. The dreams are getting stranger. Dreamt I had an operation. Feel as if I've been dragged through a hedge. Now my eyes are playing up. The dreams keep waking me up. I don't know why I'm writing some of my dreams down in the dream. Saw a room full of strange looking plants, animal and lights and a loud humming in my ears. Also saw the earth. Beginning to think that I might have a brain tumour, dreaming all this weird stuff. Is it to do with what I saw while fishing? I know one thing, it's affecting my life. 6 weeks after, but everything for sure. But no one's going to read this. If I tell anyone about this, I would be locked up for life.
Right.
That's about it, right?
Now, the cutting the horse's mouth off is an interesting, and the fact that he said, did he say that there was a cow in the room as well?
Yeah.
This is in his dream. Now, blood on his pillow is another common thing that abductees, alleged abductees, report. That, and we're possibly going to look at another case which might shed some light on that.
Yeah.
So we're going to speak to this guy today, this retired.
Yeah. Well, we'll speak to. Well, we might as well speak to John Jenkins first,
who has looked into this case.
And ask John what he certainly ask him for his views on it. And bearing on what we didn't actually mention is that some on the same day, but earlier in the morning, a lady in Parthead, Scotland, she and her daughter had witnessed a saucer-shaped object hovering over the fields in front of them, which was very similar to what John has described.
Okay.
You know.
Now, just to, I've actually made a documentary about, well, I've made 2 documentaries about the animal mutilation phenomenon. In particular, one was a horse case where there was a UFO sighting associated with that mutilated horse, and it has its mouth cut off, or it has what is termed a jaw strip. So this guy's had a UFO experience, and he's suddenly dreaming about horses' mouths being cut off. So it'd be, I mean, I appreciate that he thought that was a dream, but the abduction researchers will tell you that dreams after regression turn out to be things that have actually happened. I don't know if you've got any comments on that, John.
I don't really, because it is, as I've said before, a field of expertise where I'm not really qualified to say anything about, other than the fact that, I mean, you can't dismiss what he's told you when you bear in mind that other people have had similar. And of course, yesterday we spoke to somebody who was having some pretty weird dreams, nearly 55 years after the UFO incident. So I mean, I don't know. I can't really say about that.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for explaining that, John. We're going to go into John's study and just have a look at some of the volumes of work that you're involved with, and a few other things. And we're going to speak to a few witnesses. We're going to speak to John, and we're going to speak to another witness that I'm very, very interested in. Okay? So stay tuned and see you after the break. I'm going to be hosting one final Rich Planets 2012 speaking event on Saturday the 29th of September in Dunston Gateshead, just off the A1 motorway at the Power League football venue. This is a daytime event, doors open at 10:30 a.m, tickets are just £6, and this includes a free buffet lunch, free parking and a bar is available. During the day, I will be revisiting the issues covered in the May presentations, along with some additional new information on the Rowell Moat shootings, the latest on the Wilson and Blackett murder attempt, and the unreported bizarre cases of UFOs and animal abduction being ignored by our mainstream media. Full details and tickets are available on the richplanet.net website. There's a limited number of places, so get your ticket now for just £6. Welcome back. I'm with John Hanson, and we're now in John's study, and you can see his research files spanning the decades of UFO research. And yeah, it's only when you come to somewhere like this that you realise A, how much information there is, and B, that this type of research is funded entirely by the researchers. It's not university funded, which in my opinion it should be, but I believe there's a conspiracy and there's actually a real reason why there's no real money put into this type of research. Would you agree with that, John, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I would like to say that you've promised me a cheque for £1 million, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a shame that it's you know, that it's not properly funded, because in fact it costs us an awful lot of money, contrary to what a lot of people feel, because we've produced now nearly 6 books. We've actually made nothing.
Yeah, we spoke before the break about this police officer witness, or ex-police officer witness
from Wellingborough.
Yeah, who has been having these bizarre dreams, and you're going to ring the guy who...
Well, we're going to speak to the investigator first, which is John Jenkins. But she saw a saucer-shaped object outside, and that was on the morning of the same day that John from Wellingborough had his sighting.
I know.